happy Monday. Welcome into the Sporty Show. Another busy weekend and some very, very bad weeks for a couple of football teams here. I am Sarah Ferrari, your host. As always, I'm joined by the one, the only, Mr. KlintonCod.
We're here again, you know. As usual, like she said, a lot of teams were crying this weekend, and those are the ones I want to speak about. You know, I love when I see tears. You know, I'm always thirsty for tears. Unfortunately, there are no cups here. Actually, there is a cup here, man. And somebody's tears is in here. Liverpool.
Oh, my goodness.
Alex, man, what are you saying, brother? You're good?
I'm doing well. What a weekend it's been across the board. Premier League, LaLiga, Carabao Cup.
Still coming off. Champions League last week.
Yeah, and, well, the football doesn't even stop because we've got international break and there's more of it.
We keep going. And we also have Chantal with us, who will be checking into all of the social media. Chantal, how we doing?
Hi, Sarah, and thanks for having me. And I'm doing great. So, guys, just remember to leave the comments, and I'll be picking the best ones.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Chantal. Yeah, drop your comments, and we'll check back in a little bit. Here's what's coming up on Sporty TV this week. As Alex mentioned, it's international break. So we have on March 20th, Real Madrid versus Asvel in the EuroLeague basketball. And then we have some big ones over in CONMEBOL, Brazil versus Colombia on the 21st, as well as Ecuador versus Venezuela. Both very, very enticing matches. And on the 23rd, we have Eibar versus Huesca in LaLiga Hypermotion. All right, guys, shall we start with it? The Carabao Cup. After 70 years, nearly as long as Clinton has graced his presence on this earth, Newcastle have won a trophy again, beating out Liverpool 2-1 over the weekend to win a trophy. Now, we'll get to Liverpool in a moment, Clinton, because you and the tears and the drinking of them. But I think we have to give a lot of credit here to this Newcastle side. I mean, 70 years without a trophy is a long time. We're talking about generations.
Yeah, I mean, you know, before the game, I was pretty much one of the heavy advocates for Liverpool losing the game. I was actually praying. I mean, I've always said it. I love to see this kind of news where just less than a week you've dropped down from Champions League football, especially when people have projected you to at least having a chance to win it, and you've just not, you know, gone out of the whole Champions League hustle. Now you've literally been beaten by a team that's not won it in 70 years, like a Newcastle. I mean, it's not like it's surprising to me because I definitely did see it coming. I did announce it, you know, for people who follow me on social media. It wasn't. I was very bold when I said it. You know, I did say I hope Liverpool lose the game, and they didn't just lose. They lost it in a really shameful way. You know, they didn't score a goal. Or they did. Okay, I mean,
just the one though.
Federico Chiesa, I think, scored in like the 80th.
Oh, that goal was eventually. They agreed. I mean, it was supposed to be some kind of offside at some point. Okay, so they eventually gave the goal. Right. I mean, it's to tell you how bad. The moment I saw Newcastle dropping in their goals, I pretty much had to stop watching because for me it was more like the job is done.
Well, let's take a look at what Bruno Guimaraes had to say about Newcastle winning a trophy after such a long time.
73 years is a lot for these fans. They deserve everything. When I first came here, I said, I want to put my name in the club's history. And that's it. After 73 years, we can now say we are the champions again. The fans deserve everything. It's one of the best days of my life.
Alex, just these kind of moments, it really shows what it means. And this would be, you know, he's crying. The fans are going nuts. The team's going nuts with Eddie Howe. It shows how much it means to this team.
Yeah, I mean, delighted for them. I think when you look at what Newcastle have gone through in the last 10, 15 years, they've gone from being in the Championship to getting back into the Premier League, now playing in the Champions League just a few years ago, walloping PSG at home. What a night that would have been for them. Getting to the Carabao Cup final, losing to Manchester United, and then doing it all again this year. Against Liverpool, I imagine it's that little bit sweeter given how well Liverpool have been playing this year in the league. And it's been, I can imagine there are a few sore heads on the tune this morning celebrating. Well, they might even still be celebrating.
Oh,
long
I
into
think
this
they might
morning.
be.
But yeah, just the whole town coming together. I know our producer Ben won't be too happy as he's a Sunderland fan, but these are the moments that you love
Sorry,
to
what?
see. And I did also notice an artist, I don't know if you guys know him, Sam Fender. He changed the lyrics to one of his songs to include Dan Burn in there, which was lovely, of course. And Dan Burn, 12 years on, scoring another header at Wembley, not bad. It's a lovely story, and I'm delighted for everyone.
Absolutely. So congratulations to all the Geordies out there and Liverpool, Newcastle. Clinton, regarding that goal that Liverpool scored, sorry, it was the 94th minute Federico Chiesa scored. Now, I know you didn't want Liverpool to win, and they didn't, but I was quite happy that they scored because I hit my bet this weekend. Guys, and when I said I am not going to pick Mohamed Salah as the goal scorer in this one, who did I go with, Clinton?
Isaac?
And thank goodness I did. If you're going to trust one man in a big match who's been doing it all season long, Alexander Isak came to the rescue, not only for Newcastle, but for my bet builder over the weekend. We do have to talk a little bit about the Mo Salah conversation we were having last week regarding the Ballon d'Or, but I think I was telling you guys, in big games, you know, we noticed that he's not there. In the two legs, obviously, over PSG. But again, Clinton, we saw him in this Carabao Cup final, nowhere to be seen.
You know, for me, in Mohamed Salah's defense, I think this is how I see it, right? Now, it's not like they don't see him in the big games, but most times I would always say it does not take one player. I mean, for you to be
For
that
sure.
player who's going to be
You
that
are Messi.
change, you have to be you have to be Messi. I know, obviously, you know, the argument, especially from our last debate, was the whole Rafinha, and
Sure.
you know, we're trying to kind of like have that comparison between, you know, one of them being the guy that always shows up in the big game and the other one not being able to turn up. Very understandable. However, I think we also need to, you know, think about the caliber of players that are playing these different teams, right? I don't know, when I look at that Liverpool team, it's almost like when it's not working for everybody, right? And there are also teams that when it's not working, there's maybe that one person. Say, for example, we've seen it with Atalanta, right? You see everything not going a certain way, and then Ademola Lookman. I mean, I'm not saying it because he's my countryman, but we've seen him
No
always.
bias in there at all.
I'm trying to make sure that there's no any kind of bias. But we've seen it happen. We've seen that, you know, the moment he comes in, there's this spark that he kind of brings with, you know, the skills, you know, how technically gifted he is, you know, how much he's able to take on defenders. I think that's what we don't see with Mo Salah, because for some reason it's almost like because it's not working for the team, at that point it's not going to work for me. However, when you compare it to teams like Barcelona, for example, there's a very high chance that if it's not working for a Rafinha, it's probably working for a Lamine Yamal.
There's more players that are going to contribute.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Do you see? So that's where I think Liverpool and Barcelona, they're kind of different. When it's not, Mo Salah seems to beat that guy. Whereas when it comes to Barcelona, there are a bunch of guys that you could always mention to say, if this person is not turning up,
This guy's going to step up.
Possibility that this guy's going to step. If this one is not stepping, there's Pedro somewhere. If this one is not, maybe Lewandowski is doing some crazy. If it's not him, it's the smoking goalkeeper who is just making all these ridiculous saves. Like, it could just be, it could just be anybody. But yeah, the Liverpool one, you know, it's quite unfortunate that Salah finds himself in that kind of situation.
I think it's also the standards we hold Salah to, right, Alex? Like when you are that good of a player, when you are breaking all these records, when you are winning Champions Leagues and league titles and putting Egypt on the map once again, I think it comes with, you know, the criticism comes with being that good. That's all it is. No one here is saying Mo Salah is bad, but you're put on that pedestal, so you have to be judged at the same level. Let's welcome to the show, though, now, a very happy man. Not a Newcastle fan, but Alex hates to see him come in because it's an Arsenal fan. Gary Al Smith. Gary, Liverpool lost the Carabao Cup over the weekend. Now,
yes, they did.
I don't know. I feel like you're a little too happy about that. Now, what do you think this means in regards to the season that Mohamed Salah is having? We're just talking about how we're obviously holding him to these standards that he's played to, but we've obviously seen him not show up in some of these big games, so to speak. And what do you think about him and his performance on Sunday?
First of all, from an individual point of view, or the team, you know, because at this point, he needs team performances to elevate his claim, or the claim that people have of him, to any kind of titles, any kind of accolade, any kind of silverware, any kind of awards this year. And I think it's sad, where he's concerned. But then again, probably Liverpool should be looking at themselves and saying, just like Clinton was saying, just like you also opined, that, come on, guys, as good as he is, he's probably not a Messi or Cristiano in their peaks. He can't do it all alone. He can only do so much so often. So he's allowed, as a human being, an off day. And when he has an off day, you guys should step up for him. So where that is, where we look at it from that angle, is pretty sad for him. His balondor chances definitely have taken a dive, because obviously a week ago by this time we were talking about the possibility of a quadruple. Now we are talking about the possibility of a one upo. So
Stop.
and there we are. I mean, Liverpool themselves also, when we look at from a team point of view, guys, I think they didn't start this season thinking they might even win 2 trophies. But at this point, on this day, at this time, I think if the season ended, they would see the winning of only the Premier League as a bit of a letdown, not a failure, as a bit of a letdown, because moving from 4-1 in the space of 7 days is quite the gut puncher, and yeah, that's what it is for Mo Salah. I don't know what it means for his stay at Liverpool, whether he feels that they are not good enough, ambitious enough to meet his personal ambitions. And it's a key thing, because he's carrying all this load, but his team should be able to help him. Is he going to look across the European mountains, across the European waters, and say, is there anybody out there?
Can you?
If you can't beat them, join them.
Saudi.
Yeah. Is he going to look at, for example, I mean, I know sometimes the positions in these teams will not make it easy for Mo Salah to just walk in, but is he going to say, come on, Barcelona, come for me, or come on, this other team, come for me, a Bayern Munich or a
PSG?
I don't know. Is it a PSG?
But you have Ousmane Dembele in that position. Also, Barcelona has a 17-year-old that has a very bright-looking future that I don't think they want to put a player that is on the end of his, not end of his career. Yes, exactly. But Alex,
ascendancy,
But the way Gary just said it there, maybe it's not Mo Salah letting us as fans and football down. Maybe it's Liverpool letting down Mo Salah.
Yeah, to be honest, I think if you look at the performance yesterday from Liverpool, largely uninspiring. Like it was, I think you've got to give credit to Newcastle. On their day, they were the better team. Isak was fantastic. Murphy, Barnes, all of the players that they have going forward. Bruno, obviously, in the midfield. You see how much it meant to him there. And I think this Newcastle team has really been building a project since they got knocked out of the Champions League 2 years ago. Last season, it all feels like a blur now, actually.
Just
like 2 seasons ago, the season before. But I do think since then they've invested in the right number of players. They brought in that squad depth, which is probably the criticism we had of them back then. And I think when you look at this Liverpool squad, perhaps there is that sort of, not complacency, because I know Arne Slot, he's better than that. He knows not to be complacent. But I think when you've won so many games throughout the season, you've done so well, the pressure does get to you. And especially losing against PSG in the week. We saw it with Atletico Madrid. They lost to Real Madrid. They played 120 minutes, penalties, and by about 70 or 80 minutes, that does take an effect, especially when you've played during the week. Newcastle played on Monday night. They had that extra day's rest. But I do think this international break is coming at the right time for Liverpool. Just to have a pause. Yes, obviously there'll be players going off to play with their national team. Yes, there'll be players that will be staying in Liverpool and resting and recovering, but I do think it's come at the right time. Just to reset, clean slate, just look at these last couple of months of the season. They've got April and May left. That's it. Concentrate on the Premier League. They've got nothing else to look at. They'll be playing once a week, and then they'll win the Premier League. I don't think anything barring a miracle from Arsenal, I don't think they'll slip up there. But
I really hope
do
they don't
think-
win the Premier League, though.
Oh my goodness.
I do think that this international break has come at the right time for Liverpool.
You want to go on that, Clinton?
No. In all honesty, this is not, and this is me commenting as a hater of Liverpool. I just don't want them to win. I mean,
But
you
if
see
they
me?
don't win, there's a second place Arsenal.
Listen,
Now,
I'd rather-
I know that you've loved to talk poorly about this season as well.
No, of course. But that's the thing. For me, I always love to see some kind of movie type of story, right? You know, that team that you've written off to say it's not going to happen for you. I would just love to see Arsenal just from nowhere start winning games and boom, win the league. And it's going to kind of like humble some people to, you know, it's great. I think there's some lesson to learn for you to just know that, listen, it's never over until it's over. I think they've given Liverpool this whole, we've gassed them up way too much, you know, to make them feel like, nah, you're this, you're that. And look, fam, you've just been beaten out of the Champions League by a team that we did not even believe they would get to the level where they are. Like we're speaking about the PSG. In all ramifications, I'll tell you for free that PSG, I was never going to count them as one of those teams that we will be speaking about today. But for some reason, they came in, look at how they played. They didn't just go to, they didn't play well just in Paris. They did, literally, they played Liverpool the way they gave us a proper game. That's what I'm trying to say, right? And then you get knocked out to go face in Newcastle, such a big game where everybody should be showing up why you are. I just feel like right now that where Liverpool have taken themselves to, it's almost feeling like it's a flop, in my opinion.
I think that's what's concerning, though, about maybe football in general, because yes, they got knocked out of 2 competitions in 1 week, but they are in charge of winning the Premier League right now. And I think the way they've gotten to this point, the football that they've played, the fact that they haven't lost any matches but 1, I think because we're taking away from what they've done in the Premier League because they're out of the FA Cup, they're out of the Carabao Cup, now they're in the Champions League. All those things are bad, but I do think we have to compartmentalize it a bit because I think for us to say Liverpool's season has been a bust would be silly because they set themselves up for success basically to ride off into the sunset with, 8 matches left in the Champions League, or pardon me, in the Premier League? It's hard to do because how many times have we seen, especially when Man City and Liverpool were going to head to, like, it came down to that last game because there was a challenge. But Liverpool set themselves up way ahead of everyone else. So I know what you're saying, and I agree. It's been a horrible week for them. They will be looking at themselves in the mirror. But I do think they put themselves in a good position in the league that we can't take that away from them.
Are you feeling lucky, Clinton?
Oh. What a question.
That's a very strong question, man. It depends.
Yes or no? I don't want a me answer. I want a you answer.
Say yes, it's St. Paddy's Day.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
Yes.
St.
yes,
Patrick's
yes,
Day.
Yes, St. Patrick's Day.
Arsenal to win the Premier League on SportyBet, 21.6 odds.
Gary, you sprinkling?
I think I would have expected more though.
One more time, Alex, sorry?
21.6.
21.6.
Just a little. Just
If you're
a
feeling
little.
even
Close your
luckier,
eyes.
Nottingham Forest, 200.
Nottingham.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that one.
Gary, do your Gunners have it in you? In them, rather?
No,
No.
we don't.
We're honest. We're realistic.
I definitely don't see Arsenal doing it, in my opinion. I mean, if there was, say, Manchester City in that Arsenal position currently, I think they would have maybe put up some kind of armor that's giving them that push to say, okay, we can still do it. But Arsenal is not that team, especially when you look at the fact that you don't even have one of their playmakers who is, the likes of Bukayo.
He's coming back.
Yeah, when?
At the end of this month, I believe. Gary, do you want to
Yeah, but-
confirm Bukayo Saka returning at the end of March?
I feel like the better
Yeah,
time
yeah.
it was needed, it wasn't there, in my opinion.
I think the issue with Arsenal is, as well, they are still in the Champions League for now, and people can say, well, they're playing Real Madrid. Even if they get knocked out, they still have 2 massive games
No, of
against
course,
Real
of
Madrid.
course,
So they
of
kind of have
course.
one eye over here still, in my opinion. But let's jump to Chantal now. Chantal, what are socials saying about this Carabao Cup, Liverpool, Newcastle, Arsenal maybe at this point?
No, it's so funny that Clinton last show says that he doesn't wish bad on anyone. But here he is wanting Liverpool to flop. Anyways,
Liverpool
to the
is not
comment,
anyone. Liverpool is a team. At least.
to the comments on YouTube, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this, Makagoania says, I'm convinced Liverpool isn't the best team, especially in EPL. They were just lucky enough. Man City and Arsenal were experiencing some tough phases in most times of the season. Markin Day said, when you guys were speaking about the Ballon d'Or, please can you explain the difference between best player and a Ballon d'Or player? Because we all know it's two different words right now. And Scientific Ephraim says the Christmas tree curse is working on Salah in a different way now.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That's horrible. That is horrible. Thank you, Chantal. We'll come back to you shortly. Clinton, do you have anything to say to any of those comments?
No, the funniest one, obviously, the Christmas tree one, which I just think is just some kind of fairy tale. I just think, but sometimes you never know too, though. You never know. Maybe for those who are very religious, they will tell you that one person could literally be the reason why a whole ship could be sinking. It happened to a guy called Jonah in the Bible. I don't know. And sorry for actually getting into. It's a guy called Jonah, right? So
What was the book again?
I know I said it's in the Bible. Jonah.
Oh, sorry.
Whatever, man. Get out of here, man.
Of course, I know what the Bible is.
I don't know. I mean, Alex, you know, I don't know what's not to expect from you these days, man. But no, Jonah was in the ship and they were going to capsize. You know, they were about to drown, and it was only because Jonah was in, so they had to throw him away for them to continue the journey, right? So I don't know if truly the Christmas tree curse could be something that is. I mean, we had some. we had some kind of hurricane. Players come with their different causes.
Christmas tree. The next 3 months of your life, you're going to play some of the worst football of your life.
Wasn't it only in January when we were saying that if Mo Salah wasn't on this Liverpool team, they would be somewhere like 13th?
Yeah.
I'm taking the Christmas tree, boys.
I mean, yeah, there's always that argument of the big games.
Yeah.
He scored, 1 goal and 1 assist in 8 finals, which is a pretty poor record, if you ask me. But he's still been doing really well this season. He's the top scorer in the Premier League. He's one of the, I don't know, but I would like to imagine he's top or one of the top 3 in assists. He's been doing fantastically. Yes, the Champions League wasn't his year this year, but he still had one of the best seasons of his life, and he continues to do so every year. Mm-hmm. And he is a fantastic player.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think 1 or 2 games like this should put a dampener on the rest of his season.
Yeah.
Because he still had a fantastic season.
Absolutely.
of course.
I think we all know that. And we asked you guys on YouTube, does Salah deserve to be a contender for the Ballon d'Or? 55% of you said yes. I don't know what the other 44% of you were thinking.
No, I mean, funny enough, Sarah, funny enough, I thought that question is pretty much. I don't know if people are seeing the question from the way I'm seeing it, because the question is Salah, does he deserve to be a contender?
Yeah, that's not win.
So, well, exactly.
So that's why it should be 100%.
There could be a whole. Well, exactly. It should be 100%.
Contender is top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think we all know that, Gary. We all know that. Let's move along. Gary, I have a question for you. Do you have anything to say to Alex Ashmore?
Yeah. Yep. There should be something, man.
Blue is the color. Football is the game. We're all together. Winning is our aim. So
Gary, how many Champions Leagues have Arsenal won?
The classic.
It's next year. It's coming.
Oh yeah, next year. Not this year then.
Netflix FC. There we
I
go.
just want to say, if by some chance Arsenal beat Real Madrid, Gary, I don't care if Arsenal win the Champions League. Forget it.
We won. We won. That's our
Gary
trophy.
needs to come on the show, and the whole show is about him, and it's about him and Arsenal.
Yeah.
They don't even need to win. If Arsenal do that, that's like a win for Arsenal.
That's Arsenal's level, isn't it?
I mean,
Beating Real Madrid, though.
Beating
the team
Real Madrid,
that has
that's-
the most Champions Leagues. You say
I'm saying they celebrate perhaps draws and
Wow.
I'm only messing.
Sore loser, Alex. All right, what went wrong for Chelsea, Alex? Was it maybe a defender by the name of Badia Shield?
Turning up to the stadium, starting 11, going out on the pitch, tactics. It's been flat for Chelsea for the last couple of months, and we saw it last season. I've said this before. Enzo Maresca obviously won the league with Leicester, but we did have that blip in February and March. We've seen it this year with Chelsea. Yes, we've had their injuries when you look at Nicholas Jackson being out, I know, Clinton, you'll criticise him until the cows come home, but without him, Chelsea are a worse team. I don't know whether you think he's a good player or not.
I think
but
even with him,
without
they're still a rubbish team.
No, they're a worse team without him.
Wait, I thought you liked Chelsea. I thought that was one of your teams.
Sorry?
I thought you liked. Wasn't
He
Chelsea?
likes
wasn't
Chelsea.
it
Like
Chelsea?
Nicholas Jackson.
No, I
In
think
the fall, you definitely were. In like October.
I think you guys are confusing me supporting team when they play good compared to me actually being a fan of a team. These are two different things, in my opinion. Do you see?
Yeah.
So when they are performing, I'm cheering them. I'm saying I'm loving what's going on here. I'm loving what this player is doing. This guy's meant to be a striker. Why are you not shooting that ball from that angle? Now you're pissing me off. Like, this is me getting angry from a game I'm watching. But when I'm passionate about a team like Real Madrid, for example, if I believe Kylian Mbappe or Bellingham or Valverde, somebody's in playing the way, now that's where you see the real passionate side of me saying, listen, Ancelotti, you need to be questioned. You know, at this point, I'm just a guy who loved Chelsea at some point when they performed. And now I'm not speaking about them again because they are nowhere close to... the only teams I can speak about right now when they are performing proper rubbish and have to criticize has to be Manchester United or Real Madrid.
Well, as I was saying, I just think just a disappointing day all round for Chelsea. Lucky that Man City dropped points against Brighton at home. That was a lifesaver, which means that they're still inside the top four. I think it just highlights the perhaps Chelsea fans towards the beginning of the season, we were second, third, we were doing really well, seemed to be nailed on for a top four spot. But the dip off, I think, has highlighted that we are not there yet. We were saying that, could Chelsea win the title? They were far off it. Top four, they're still not nailed on for top four. And I think it just highlights the areas of this squad that needs to be improved. I look at the goalkeeper, I look at the two centre-backs, I look at the right-back, I look at a good number of those midfielders, I look at the wingers and the striker position. You can't build a team around...
Alex,
you can build a team around one player.
That's the whole team. Alex, that's the whole team you've just named.
It is. But it's the truth. You know, you look at that Chelsea team. Robert Sanchez, he's not good enough to be a top four goalkeeper. Badia Shield's not good enough to play in a top four side. Levi Colwill, I'm beginning to doubt is good enough to play in a top four side. Wesley Fofana, I have my doubts about him as well. Nkunku, Jadon Sancho. I love Pedro Neto. I think he's a fantastic player, but he's not an out-and-out striker. You need a guy who's going to score you 30, 40 goals a season, and Chelsea don't have that.
Victor Osimhen. Maybe that's
I wouldn't be opposed to that. I just think it really highlights how Chelsea fans were getting excited at the beginning of the season, but there's still a long way to go until Chelsea are competing with top four and titles.
I think they still have a chance, though. We have to see. There are a few more games left in the season. Gary, on Arsenal, is there some sort of... I don't know how to necessarily explain it. They seem to have gotten into a bit of a groove, even with all these injuries. Obviously, the two matches against PSV, they basically sorted it out in the first leg. But they drew United, they drew Forest, they beat Chelsea. They are getting points. It might not be the 3 points that they want, considering that they are a really depleted side up front. You have Mikel Merino, who's playing as your striker. He's not doing a terrible job at it. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely issues with this team, but considering everything, it's not horrible right now for Arsenal, in my opinion.
No, in my opinion, I think... sorry, Gary, go on.
No, I don't think so. It's the realities of the situation are that we didn't buy when we had to buy in the January transfer window, and the kind of dip that I expected, because we clearly don't have a striker, is not what we've seen. I mean, the fact that we were able to scrape through a couple games in the last few, I think is progress. However, I would be very quick to say that we should not at any point start praising Mikel Arteta, because this problem is one that he and the management could have sorted with a decent striker. You know, as a friend was saying, you only needed us to buy somebody whose primary role was FWD or STR. Like, just that. Like, literally any human whose primary role was not MD or whatever midfield. You know, So we simply should have done that. Look at even if we brought somebody from the championship, that would have been a recognized striker. That would have been an extra body in there rather than put Mikel Merino in this awkward position.
Maybe Iheanacho should have probably made it to Arsenal.
It could be. I mean, a tale as old as time. Arsenal need a striker.
Gary,
Does the blame? Sorry, I'm jumping in here, Gary.
Yeah.
Does the blame fall on Arteta though? Because he's not the one that's bringing in the players. Obviously, he's the one that gets the players and moulds that squad. But you look at Edu, obviously, who now left the club, and Arsenal have been looking to replace him and looking at a few options. But does the blame now fall on the hierarchy because they haven't brought in that striker? I feel like Arteta's not going to be the one who's going, we're signing a striker, it's my decision.
Well, I mean, once you are the coach and you've been there that long and you know what's at stake and you know that, the fans are pining and the fans are going to have your head because it's been too many years, all those variables. I mean, I think you should push harder. And if he is the one not at fault, I think by now, we know the kinds of media that will have it out by now. The likes of the Athletics of this world and so on would have it out on their podcast and on their BTS, on their behind-the-scenes shows that, you know what, because Arteta's people would have leaked it. That is what I would do. And that is what his people would do. We would know by now that, it's not Mikel. Mikel is pushing for it, but the guys are not. But it's just crickets from the Arsenal camp. We are not hearing anything about why he's not buying, why he did not buy when he had the opportunity, and we've been left in this position. So if we are scraping a couple games at a time when we should have, probably been a good 9 points ahead of what we are, or a good 7 points, even a good 5 points, I don't think that I'm cutting Mikel Arteta too much slack. I think that we should have done better. He should have insisted more if he didn't have a say, or if he had opportunity and he decided not to take it, then I've heard some people say that, he did not want to buy because he did not want to upset the chemistry in the team in January. I'm like, no, come on. I mean, what are you talking about?
I was gonna ask Gary a question quickly. If you say had the opportunity in the next transfer window, and there was a possibility of getting yourself a striker, you had Victor Osimhen and Isak at this point. Which one are you taking for Arsenal, mate?
I'm still taking Osimhen.
I love the answer.
And I'll tell you why. Because Isak, as good as he's been for Newcastle, feels to me like many of the Newcastle players are at the moment, that they are system players. It feels to me that they are in a team where the manager has been able to find what works for them, and it's a team of slightly average players who are collectively doing so much more than they can achieve individually. So unless Isak does what Osimhen has done in multiple teams across different climes and different temperatures, if you like, I'm not immediately choosing him based on the body of work yet. I mean, look, it is very clear that Isak is a talented goal poacher. But then again, you're not going on instinct or some of these things. Sometimes you only have to look at striker ace numbers. He's done it in multiple countries. He's done it here and here, and say, yeah, you've got to give him his flowers. So
wouldn't you rather someone who's already adapt to the Premier League, though, Guy?
At this point, it will be funny to doubt Osimhen. I mean, look, it will just be funny. He's literally done it from when he was 17 years old. He's played with average midfielders and shone in the Nigerian national teams. Look at the clubs he's played for. He's not played for the most flamboyant of clubs that have. He's played for all kinds of teams with all kinds of profiles of midfielders, and yet you look at his style of play, his finishing has improved. Not just his finishing, no, that's why his finishing, it seems like he was born with it. But his positioning has always improved regardless of who his playing mate is. He seems to land in teams and he just gets on with it. hits the ground running. And that's the kind of player you want. So assuming he's not even tasted it in the Premier League, we said the same for Kylian Mbappe going to La Liga and for Real Madrid. Eventually, what happened? He just needed a manager who trusted him. And at the moment, he's on course to break the great Cristiano Ronaldo's record for a debut season.
All right, well, let us know, guys.
Has he broken it already?
I think he's close to. He's close to. I think he probably needs about. I can't remember
Ronaldo
how many goals he probably still needs.
Yeah. Because I think I saw a stat yesterday that said his next target is Ivan Zamorano.
No, I don't think he's broken it just yet. But I mean, there's a very high. I mean, I see him doing it. To be honest.
Let us know, guys, who you think Arsenal. Who would do better at, or if you were an Arsenal fan, who would you want? Alexander Isak or Victor Osimhen? We'll check back in a bit. But first, Chantal, let's check in with you and see what everyone's saying on socials before we move along to some La Liga action.
Okay, so the comments moved from speaking about Salah. So Naphtali says we shouldn't blame Liverpool for losing this final. We all know that Salah is fasting. That is why. Goodman, Russ Miller said Salah just needs to change team. He's won everything down there. Then the shift to Izzy Borlofi saying Sancho shouldn't come back to to Man United. Anthony's better than him. And Markinde says, I will take Isaac all day over Osimhen. Osimhen is injury prone. Fact check me. And good luck, Anthony says KlintonCod is better than Osimhen.
What?
What?
I mean,
no, it's Osimhen injury prone though.
Didn't he start
He asked
his
for the fact check.
injured?
KlintonCod is injury prone. I know that.
I mean, I am injury prone, but the good thing is I've never seen myself injured, and I'll still speak the same for Victor Osimhen. I don't think he's that type of player where people will be scared of
I'm checking
injury.
on transfer markets now.
You're checking it?
It's the first time
So he had a meniscus injury in 16-17. He missed 179 days. That was his biggest injury. In 17-18, he had a shoulder injury that he missed 80 days. 2021, same shoulder injury, 63 days. 21-22, a broken cheekbone. That was the mask, as we all know, 55 days. 23-24, hamstring injury, 43 days. Maybe a little bit injury prone, because this keeps going. This does keep going. I think it just shows, though, that he's the kind of player that even though he is injury prone, when he's on, he's on.
Yeah, look at Isak as well. Isak has had his own injury problems.
Yeah.
He's had seasons where he's missed 15, 18 games, 12 games. I think you're always going to get injury problems, especially with the amount of football players are playing these days. But for me, when it comes down to the two, to be honest, I think Arsenal need two strikers, let alone one, but they're not going to buy both of them. You need to look at, one, the age. One, have they done it before in the Premier League? I think that's a big factor. I do think with Osimhen, though, you can counter that and say, I do think he could adapt to the Premier League very quickly. We've seen him do it everywhere he's been. Mm-hmm. But I also think Arsenal need a backup striker as well, because I don't think Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz are good enough.
I think that, say, for example, if they had the opportunity to buy between, say, Victor Osimhen and Isak, I would obviously, like he said, they need two strikers. Maybe one person who's going to be like what Manchester City had with Haaland and Julian Alvarez, right? But obviously Alvarez at this point, we're not going to consider him to be that little guy who, he was almost like shadowing. I mean, obviously, because he had that other guy who was banging in the goals, starting all the games, he felt like, there was something blocking his shine. And obviously, he's gone to Atletico Madrid now, and people are beginning to see he's literally gone there to be the star man, if you know what I mean. So, yes, in my opinion, I think Victor Osimhen, I know wherever leagues, I literally had a tweet put on the other day. I said there's a spirit following Victor Osimhen, that wherever he goes to, he always delivers. He gives that Victor Osimhen level of performance. And I see him coming into the Premier League. If I even want him to come here, I just want him to come so people are able to see the full view, have the full clarity as to the caliber of player that he is. We pretty much know that right now, when it comes to striking, he's probably the best African striker that anybody could speak about, considering what he's doing currently. So I know he can easily walk into any team in the Premier League, and he's still going to maintain that steez that he has, with Galatasaray and Napoli when he's been there. But yeah, I really hope if he's coming to the Premier League, and I'm still a Manchester United supporter, I would obviously hope he comes to Manchester.
Oh my God, no, he has to go to Arsenal now, so you have to become a gunner.
I mean,
Gary.
you never know.
Can you imagine the scenes? All right, let's move along because somewhere in a dark, dingy bar sits Arne Slot. But who's comforting him? It's Diego Simeone. Because if you thought Liverpool had a bad week, so did Atleti. After being knocked out of the Champions League to city rivals Real Madrid, Atletico lost to Spanish rivals Barcelona. Just yesterday, Alex Ashmore and I were at that game. And Alex Ashmore, being the naive young man at this table, said, 2-0. Sorloth, that's my guy. Atleti. I said, you don't know this team, Alex. And Barcelona score 4 goals in a row, but I think the biggest picture here is Diego Simeone, because I think you drop a 2-0 lead to Barcelona, and also you take, like Clinton said, Real Madrid all the way to penalties. I think this is an issue of Diego Simeone and some of the decisions he's made. These are 2 massive losses. Yes, they didn't lose, 2 trophies, let's say, like Liverpool, but to lose this badly at home to Barcelona is not going to be good for Atleti.
No, and they almost have. I mean, now they're 4 points behind Barcelona and Real Madrid. It doesn't feel like a lot, but it's a mountain to make up, especially when you look at, I think, the run-in. Obviously, they've just got the league now to concentrate on. They've obviously got the Copa del Rey as well, but that's 2 games. But I think yesterday there are a few moments I look at that 70th minute. They're 2-0 up, and they take off 2 of their most attacking players.
Julian Alvarez. We were sitting there thinking, this is mind games.
Taking off Julian Alvarez instead of Antoine Griezmann for a start was mind-boggling, because I thought Griezmann was quite quiet last night. Every time Julian Alvarez got the ball, you could tell that he was a danger to that Barcelona defence. And to go so deep, and I spoke to Alexander Sorloth after the game, and he said it himself, that almost as a reaction as players, not from the manager, but he said it himself, that he thought they dropped too deep and they were playing too deep, and that invited that pressure on. And yes, on the other hand, I think you look at that 70, 80-minute mark, you could see Atleti really start to tire, and I think that Wednesday night took its toll on them. Barcelona obviously having that extra day's rest, which in today's day and age where they're playing 90 minutes every 3 hours at the moment, given the amount of football that UEFA and FIFA are giving them, it's always going to take its toll. But to invite that much pressure on you when you're already tired, you have to have an outlet. You have to have something that's going to keep that Barcelona team wary. They're going to go, we can't put all our men forward because there's Julian Alvarez behind us, and we let the ball go over the top. 1 out of 3 chances he's going to take and he's going to score. And it's mind-boggling. It's Atleti doing what Atleti have done too many times before. They're not out of the title race, but it's been an awful week for them. They lost to Getafe. They're out of the Champions League. They're now 4 points behind Real Madrid and Barcelona. There's no Madrid derbies left. They've played Barcelona twice. They've got to have a long, hard look at themselves in the mirror, and I'm sure they will be. A disappointing week for Atleti fans. I don't want to jump the gun and say, is this time for change? But it's happened too many times.
Well, we were at the Metropolitano yesterday, and we asked some fans, Barça and Atleti fans, what they thought that a win or a loss could mean for the La Liga title race. Take a look at this. Do you think Barcelona's winning? If they win tonight, do you think they're going to win La Liga?
Yeah, surely. I think they're going to win La Liga either way, but today is a key match for sure. They will take the champion of the league.
Atlético Madrid, I think we have a chance against Real Madrid. And, we got the league.
Yeah, we know that we definitely need the points, but it's going to be a tough one.
Sorry, if Atleti lose today, can they still win the league?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? No, that's it?
That's it. Yo pienso que sí, porque en la Copa del Rey, depende de quién gane, van a dar todo por la Liga.
Barcelona will play in the Champions League, so Atletico have more time to train.
No, I don't think so.
No.
La eliminación de Champions nos da tregua para centrarnos en la Copa y en la Liga, y confiamos en el proyecto.
No, I don't think so. Real Madrid is going to win La Liga.
Oh, you think Real Madrid is going to win? Okay.
No, Real Madrid is going to win the league. Hala Madrid.
They will win La Liga, the Champions, and the Copa.
The
treble.
Vamos a ganar.
Pues muchas gracias.
Guapo, un beso. ¡Mua!
I got her in the
Okay,
end.
okay. I thought they were going to leave you hanging. Well, let's welcome Angel to the show. Showing up like an actual angel out of thin air.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Good to be here.
Good.
To chip in on the conversation.
Well, we're talking La Liga. Yesterday, a massive match. What were your thoughts on that? What do you think this means for Atletico and Barcelona's season in La Liga?
Oh, this is a big boost for Barcelona, actually. Real Madrid was actually hoping that it went on to lose that one, and although Barcelona has a game in hand, but this is a very good buffer, and it sends a statement to everyone in the league that we mean business, and even for the Champions League, because coming from 2-0 down and winning that one 4-2 was actually sensational. You cannot, the crop of players that they have in that Barcelona and the mentality to come back from 2-0 down from the 77th minute was actually good. But for Diego Simeone, it was disappointing for his men, because being knocked out of the Champions League by Real Madrid, and now you had a chance to at least make a statement in the league to say, oh, we're back and we're going to fight for this till the end. But it was disappointing, and to bottle that in front of their home fans, even more, more disappointing.
Clinton, is it more disappointing that Simeone and his men had a chance to beat both Real Madrid and Barcelona? It's not like they were getting outplayed and stretched and scored on by, several numbers. They were putting both of these teams to a test.
Yeah, I think the problem I see with Atletico Madrid is the fact that, they don't have that spirit of perseverance till the end. There's this thing about they play to a certain level and feel like we are comfortable enough for us to start doing whatever it is we want to do. And then that's when teams that they play decide to take advantage of that mentality. And I think that's what Diego Simeone needs to work on, especially with the players, because you could clearly see him as a coach. I'm sure that's not what he wants for his team. You pretty much see how animated he is, on that sideline, trying to get these players to do what he believes they should be doing, especially during those dying moments. And it feels like there still has to be more work to be done, even with the substitutions that he makes, as well. Like, there are some players in your team that, in my opinion, you don't take them out. You leave them because they have some kind of aura that poses some level of threat to your opposition, that even if they are tired or they are not doing anything in particular, but just because they are there. For example, in my opinion, I will never take a Julian Alvarez out unless I am comfortably winning that game to a point where even if they score me too, I'm still leading, right? But you don't take them out when you're playing, for example, a Barcelona. Come on, everybody, see what's been happening with Barcelona this season alone. If I was playing Barcelona, if they're not making any sub from their team, I'm not making no sub. It just means that, bro, we are doing something really good, and no, we are fighting till the end. Barcelona, they've humbled Real Madrid like twice already. Is it twice or three times? Okay, maybe twice, right? The Clasico has been twice.
The league and then the Super Cup.
Yeah. And I was hoping that somehow Atletico will go speak for us to say, yeah, you humbled our senior brother in the city. You know what? Let's do what we do best. And they had the opportunity. Like, Real Madrid, I would not see a Real Madrid winning 2-0 to an Atletico or to a Barcelona. Let me just say to a Barcelona, especially right now, and bottle a 2-0 lead. I think Ancelotti will be like, wait, hang on, is this 2-0? All right, where is Alaba? I know you are injured, but just come and stand here first. And then you are bringing Militao. I know you only have 2 toes remaining now, but please, you're not going to play. Just stay next to the goal. Like, let's just go with this win. But this is what I think Atleti, they keep missing out on.
Yeah, I think so too. Gary, every time you're on the show and we do talk about Barcelona, and it's not been often lately because, you only grace us with your presence so often these days. But we always talk about Lamine Yamal. The youngster now has 30 goals and assists combined this season. I don't know if you saw his post-match presser, but he was saying that for him, it's more about the team winning than him putting up his own numbers. And there's a lot of people talking. But yesterday was a day where we did see him get on the scoreboard, deflection or not. Thoughts of his performance yesterday?
Well, vintage Lamine, and I like
vintage Lamine. What an oxymoron! Vintage Lamine.
Wow.
Yeah, vintage young man. I liked mostly not just the performance. I liked what he said after the game when he was asked, and he said, well, he's never really bothered, about not scoring because he contributes to the teams in other ways, and what's important is the team winning. But it is nice to have people off his back, because he has scored. So while it's not a problem, it's nice to score, you know. And he had a really he had more than a decent game yesterday, didn't he? He was man of the match, no? Yeah, he was man of the match.
Yesterday.
Yeah, he was man of the match. So happy for the young man. Even when he's not scoring, he's contributing. But when he does score, oh my, OMG, OMG.
I was just going to make a comment on this Lamine Yamal again, because you see, people are failing to not see, you know, the way I see him as a player, right? If you, as young as he is, he's playing to the level he's playing, let's forget about the goal. Now, let's say he's known for being the king of, in my opinion, for Barcelona, he's the king of assists, right?
In my opinion, he's like the best footballer in the world right now, just because of watching him.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to enjoy football, if you want someone to give you joy and that has skill, Lamine Yamal. I'm sorry, he's in the conversation for the balondor. I don't even care about the numbers. Do you see what this kid's doing? Don't tell me 17. He's too young. Not his fault. You look, he's playing with this audacity.
I know, but the area where I was even going to go was the fact that, forget about the goals.
Yeah.
The fact that your name is in the conversation, even not given the amount of goals that people expect you to score, for me, that's crazy enough, right? So basically, people watch you play. People see the assists. People see your crossing. People see the skills. People see the technical abilities. People see how much you're able to run past defenders, right? And this is what they speak about positively about you. Now, the goal is not coming to play. So, obviously, that's why I would understand that when the goal now comes in, it's almost like he's not completed that, you know, was being expected. But for me, he's doing his job. I've said it so many times on this show. I said that every player comes with their different ministry on football. There are players that you would not see that goal come very often. But the way they work out the goal for people will keep you thinking. And that's the reason why I've always said, why is Lionel Messi very different for me, right? Lionel Messi is you can say forget about the goals too.
Brings
for
you
me.
joy.
Do you understand? Like the reason a whole bunch of people can tell you different reasons why they just like him. You see, so for me, that's what I tend to love in football.
Did you see the goal he scored yesterday? Did you see the goal?
I know he scored, but I didn't see the goal. I didn't see the goal. You see,
audacious chip. Audacious
That's
chip.
the one word I think that Lamine Yamal has been associated with this season. Audacity.
Yeah. And you know the thing that Hansi Flick said, which was interesting when Lamine Yamal was not scoring and he was getting some criticism. He said he does more than just scoring. The goals are not just important. Anytime he has the ball, Hansi Flick is excited because, you know, you as a fan or as in the stand or a regular person, you're just excited at what he's going to do with the ball. And to put things in context, because we mentioned Lionel Messi, like while we're not putting him on the same pedestal, but to put things in context, this young man is just 17 years old, isn't it? Well, now, I look back to when Messi made a stance in the international football. It was the Under-20 World Cup where he won the Golden Ball with Mikel Obi and
So sometimes that's why I look at Mikel, I'm one of your mates. Anyway, sorry.
And I look at Lamine Yamal is not even up to the age that Messi was at that time. To tell you how young this young man is doing what we saw Messi do at the Under-20 World Cup. And he's not, unfortunately, he's never going to play in the Under-20s because he already made it to the senior team.
Of course.
At the very young age of 16, you know? So that's to tell you, like, what he does. And I'm excited. I just hope that it's not going to be like a case of all the Pato and Ansu Fati and other players who we expected so much of and they never shone as bright as they could due to maybe injuries or other personal problems. I hope that that's not the case for him.
Do you know what I was initially going to mention if you have like 30 seconds for me?
30 seconds, then we're moving.
Just coming down to when we mentioned Lionel Messi as well, right? I was literally going to also add that the reason why sometimes we tend to speak about this player is even when they walk the balls and they're giving the assist, right? Do you know sometimes you even forget about the goal that's been scored? What you're thinking is, hang on, wait.
The pass.
No, leave the goal. Just the goal was good.
We go back. Did you see the pass?
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it feels like even the pass is even more important than the goal. I've seen it so many times, and for me, that's what distinguishes you from other players. There are people who... Okay, that's my 30 seconds, sorry.
All right. Well, Barcelona are set to play Osasuna on March 27th, but that will likely get appealed as Osasuna are meant to play Bilbao the next day, and Barcelona just 68 hours later play Girona. So we'll see what happens with that match. International break, though, Lamine Yamal underway for Spain, taking on the Netherlands. Alex, LaLiga top 5 goals of the week. We didn't get Clinton to do it. We will get him to do it, but it is that time. Are you ready for the COD criticism? That's what I'm calling the COD criticism.
I am, and I had a little bit more choice this week.
No, because I had Alex always. I think when he was putting it, I was just hearing, oh my God! Whoa! So Alex, all the screaming, they best have your words now.
Yes. So last week it was a little bit difficult. I didn't have as much choice. This week I was spoilt. I had 7 and I had to whittle it down to 5. My first one is Alberto Moledo for Las Palmas against Alaves. It was a nice one. It was a thunderstrike.
What a jersey.
Just on the edge of the box. And that was, amongst others, there were a few like that, but I went for that one in the end. Number 4, I've gone for Ramon Terrats for Getafe against Osasuna. This was a lovely striker, a tricky strike, and a lovely move there from Uche to pass the ball in. And some
power
really nice
behind that
finishes
one,
this
yeah.
week. Uche, of course, actually getting sent off for Getafe, 2 bookings, but lovely pass for the assist.
Clinton,
there.
so far, what are you thinking? Sorry, he hasn't said anything.
He hasn't said anything, which is good.
The pass was nice.
So that is number 4. Number 3, Martin Zubimendi against Rayo Vallecano. This is one of, I think this takes so much skill to be able to do this. On the first touch, off a ball like that, to control it, to keep it down, get it into the bottom corner like that, fantastic goal. So that's my number 3. And then my
No, that's...
No, hold on. Wait, stop.
What's 1 and 2?
Because listen, Alex, okay, this is, what number is this one for you?
This is 3.
This is number 3, so we are going to 2 and then 1.
Yeah.
Okay, because so far so good. This is the best. Okay, go on. Let's see 2 and 3. Sorry.
2, Pedro Diaz. 2 is Pedro Diaz against Real Sociedad. This is an unbelievable goal.
Oh, yeah, that's a great
From
goal.
quite far out. I was close to putting this number 1, but number 1, when you see number 1, you'll understand why.
Oh, Danny,
You won't, Clinton. But yes, number 2 is Pedro Diaz, who, of course, made it into the goals of the week. I think it was last week against Real Madrid for his strike. But my number 1 goal of the week is Dani Raba for Leganés against Real Betis. A lovely solo run. He almost lost it.
I thought he did. I was at this game.
A lovely show of strength. To get the ball back, you think he's lost it there. To get past the defender, put it in the bottom corner. I think solo effort, that is the best goal of the week for me.
Individual effort. It's not the best goal, but the effort was incredible. I was at this game and I thought 3 times he lost it. I was like, he's not getting there. He's not getting there. He still has the ball. I do think the 3rd and the 2nd goal, though, were something very, very special from Real Sociedad and what they did against Rayo.
I look at this one, right? In my opinion, like I said, for me, it's just the efforts. Because we saw Vini do exactly this, right? I understand he also got to your list, but I'm just marking him based on the fact that, you were running with the ball, you already lost it, you took it back, and then you scored. But when it comes to the goal, number 2 is the best goal for me today.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy
because
with
of the technique.
It's better,
For me, it was the technique. And for me, it's not just the technique. If we could go back to that goal again, there was time, you would see that, I forgot the name of the player that took that particular shot.
Diaz.
Yeah,
Same
Pedro
one who
Diaz.
scored against Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Rayo Vallecano.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, was it the same person?
Same player.
Wait, it was the same person?
Unbelievably the same name. He hasn't changed his name.
Jesus Christ, man. No, that means that guy is good. Wait, why are we not saying? No, but for me, it was how short. Because when you saw the goal, we need this goal, man. When you saw the goal, it was how you just knew. You know, there are some players that would just take it and feel like if he goes, he goes, if he goes. But you could see from the body language, that thing was a goal for him before he even struck that stuff.
You can tell he's got so much space, but you can tell as soon as he strikes it, the keeper's not saving that.
Oh, no, this is not the goal I was talking about.
That's
number 3 then.
Okay, that's number 3.
I thought this was insane, though.
No, this one, when you judge from the distance, of course. But this one, though, ooh la la.
Nah, it wasn't the distance for the second one for me, though. It was the angle. He went near post, and he only had a certain fraction.
No, of course. But this is filthy, man.
I've seen quite a lot of those go to, and in case with Rayo, I think most of them would have gone into the street, the other side of the stand.
No, of course.
Lovely goal, and well, I think
you did better based on Clinton's criticism that you only messed up like 1 and 2 or something.
That's because he's scared. He doesn't want you to tell him to join him next week.
Yeah.
You mentioned the other week, so he doesn't want to criticize
I can't.
You got that. All right, guys, let's check in with Chantal, shall we?
So the comments in the YouTube section got a little bit spicy. Good luck, Anthony says Barca was unfair. Marking Day says Atletico got tired towards the end. Scientific Ifram says Endrick is better than Lamine Yamal. Michael says I think Barcelona are the favorites to win any trophy that they're in this season, even Champions League. I found this one funny. Young Millie says, "Holy cow! How tall is Alex?" And Sarah, this one is for you. Thank you, Sarah, for such accurate prediction of a football match. It made my weekend even better after Madrid moved on top of the table for a moment. This person also said, ClintonCod and Alex learn from Sarah on how to predict games. Marking Day even mentioned Sarah's booking code has brought more audience to the show. Nice one. So you know what's coming. The people want to make money, so I need booking codes.
Okay, let's just come to my booking code quickly because I think while we celebrate Sara, you guys need to celebrate me as well because there are people who also told me or they sent me DM that they got money from cash out. Because remember, it was 45 odds and every game pretty much came through until it was Arsenal and Chelsea, which I put a draw.
Wait, but didn't you have a game that wasn't playing this weekend? Who was Celta playing this weekend?
Sorry, which one?
You.
No. This is an old slip. Sorry. No,
Here we go.
Hang on. No. Yeah, but look at it. Yeah. So I pretty much look at this one.
His one is still tonight is the final game of your slip. Celta Vigo against Las Palmas.
Yeah. So you haven't finished. So we don't know how you've done.
Until not tonight. Sorry, it's 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks from now. So again, you picked a game that's far away. This is the second time you've gone here and here.
No, but
well, it's still live. It's still live.
It's still live. Well, you don't. Because Arsenal.
No, Arsenal draw. Okay, so that's why. No, I pretty much thought that one it went through and maybe cash out 45 odds. You know, if you're putting $1 million, for example, you'll be cashing out. Who knows? Maybe like.
Why do you have to use such a huge amount?
I don't know. I don't even know why.
Alex, can we get your slip, your booking code?
Yes, for last weekend or my one for this week?
Well, last weekend I don't think you did well.
No, yeah.
So let's move right along into the future to bigger and better things.
So we've got 4 games on Sporty TV this week. I've gone for Real Madrid to beat Asvel in the Euro League. Of course, not football this week. It is basketball. I've gone for over 2.5 goals in the Brazil-Colombia game. I feel like that one will be an entertaining game. Ecuador versus Venezuela. I've gone for Ecuador to go 2-up at any point in that game. And then finally, Eibar against Huesca. I've gone for a draw at the end of the first half.
Wow. All right. Well, if you guys want to make some money, check out Alex's booking code. Like we said, guys, international break is going to commence this week. Rafinha in action, Endrick in action, Lamine Yamal, Victor Osimhen, and who? Jordan Ayew, Gary? Yeah, it's a good show. Mohamed Kudus. Everyone's
New
back
Ghana
in action.
captain.
Oh, okay. All right. But we will be back, guys, next Monday. We are also taking an international break. Oh my God, we are. Okay. We are going on international break as well. So the Sporty Show will be back next Monday. But guys, guess what? We are officially going to be doing 2 hours for every Sporty Show. So you thought you had enough of us? There's never enough. We're going to have 2-hour shows as well as our usual watch-alongs and all of that. More time to discuss football, more time for Angel to grace us with her presence, more time for maybe Gary as well to grace us with his presence, and Chantal, pardon me. So we hope you guys are excited for that. We'll see you all next Monday, and we hope you enjoy the international break. As always, until then, enjoy the football.
I'm going on holiday avec. I'll let you know where.